Hey there guys, what is going on? Sar here and welcome back yet again to another Gran Turismo 7 setup video for the channel. Today guys we've got the Ford Focus ST 2015. Now I'm a pretty big Ford fan and I do love my fast Fords as well, so I was pretty excited to be able to tune this car. Unfortunately that's where all the excitement disappeared. Whilst tuning this car, I realised it's quite underpowered. It doesn't really go that fast, and in terms of handling, it's not great. Looks great. Don't get me wrong, looks great. It definitely needs a lot more options for like the customization and spoilers and lips and so forth. I'd say to Polyphony to try and maybe get multiple options for this car or any other car to be fair, because the customization is a bit lacking. But yeah, its handling is quite mushy, if I'm honest. Even when you tune the setup and everything like that, make the suspension, beef it up a little bit, and blah blah blah. Yeah, it's not great. There's a few issues as well with the handling. For instance, with its default form, as you get with the racing suspension on this, the car feels very mushy, very slidey, especially the stability at higher speeds. The back end just steps out quite easy. It's quite easy to lose it. It's really weird. And then all of a sudden, when you like brake it and everything like that, it just kind of does really random things. If you beef up the suspension to try and counteract it, to try and stabilize it, you just get so much understeer. The car just feels like a tank car from like Gran Turismo 5, sorry. Yeah, it just doesn't turn at all. So I had to kind of like balance it out a little bit to try and get the best of both worlds, and I believe this is it. So let's go ahead and jump straight into this. So for this one we've got 4 setups in total. We've got the maxed out unrestricted setup, the 550 pp setup, 600 pp setup, and 650. So let's go ahead and start with the maxed out one. So for this one, racing soft tires, suspension is fully customizable with body height set to 85/95, anti-roll bar is set to 6/7, damper ratio compression is 33/34, damper ratio expansion is 48 and 46. Natural frequency is 1.75 at the front and 1.85 at the rear. Negative camber angle is 1.5 at the front, 2.0 at the rear. Toe angle is out 0.05 at the front and in 0.30 at the rear. Differential is fully customizable with initial torque at 5, acceleration at 25 and braking at 5. Moving over to the downforce for this one, you want to run the front splitter and the rear spoiler as well for this one. I believe you don't really have to run this, but this, just to make it safe, I would just recommend having it at 100 and 100 here. I tried without any downforce, and I think it was like 10 and 0, and that worked okay as well. But this gives it just that little bit of a better turn in and a little bit more stability as well at the rear. So I recommend putting those parts on. ECU is at 100%, power restrictors at 100%. Transmission is fully customizable racing transmission, and that is set to 270. Turbocharger is high RPM. I tried all the other turbochargers, they're not really doing much to this car. The high RPM one seems the best, but overall the normal turbocharger actually works really damn well as well. Anti-lag system is set to strong, racing intercooler, racing air cleaner, semi-racing exhaust or silencer. Again, this is personal preference. I like the way this one looks and sounds. I don't really like the way the racing one looks with just the one in the center. That just looks really kind of horrible for me. And the sports one kind of sounds like a Nissan GTR. So that's kind of a weird sounding Focus ST. So the stock or the semi-racing, in my opinion, sound the best. Exhaust manifold is racing brake pads and discs. Brake controller is set to -1 on normal if you fancy that, and you want to have clutch and flywheel set to racing. Let's go ahead and look at the other PP setups now. So this one is the 550 PP setup. This one is restricted to racing hard tires. Suspension differential and downforce stays the same. Your ECU output is at 98%. Power restrictor is at 70%. Your transmission is set to 210 kilometers an hour. Turbocharger is normal with anti-lag system set to strong. Normal intercooler, sports air cleaner, normal exhaust and silencer, um, racing brake pads and discs, and brake controller at -1 with racing clutch and flywheel. 600 pp setup still with the sports hard tyres, a suspension differential downforce stays the same, your ECU is now at 100% with the power restrictor being at 90%. Your transmission is preset to 250 kilometers an hour. Turbocharger normal with strong anti-lag system, normal intercooler, sports air cleaner, semi-racing silencer, normal exhaust manifold, racing brake systems, and your brake controller is still at -1 with a racing clutch and flywheel. Moving over to the last setup now, this is the 650 pp setup. For this one, sports soft tyres, suspension differential downforce stays the same, your ECU is at 100%, power restrictor is at 95%, transmission only went up by 10 kilometers an hour, so that's 260 kilometers an hour. Your turbocharger is set to normal still with strong anti-lag system, racing intercooler, racing air cleaner, semi-racing silencer, racing exhaust manifold, racing brake system and pads, racing clutch and flywheel, and your brake controller is set to -1. So that's it for the setup, guys. Hope you guys do enjoy these setups. If you have and you find these useful, please leave a like and comment down below.